Might expect there is a lot of focus today on Israel's war in Gaza and the human toll. Our press reviewer, Deeptika Laurent, has been taking a look for us. Deepti, just take us through some of those headlines, if you will.
It's all about the pictures today, at least in the British dailies, which a lot of them are going with these striking pictures of the war in Gaza on their front pages. This is from the Daily Mirror, the British Daily, which goes with this headline, "Save Them," and that rather horrific picture of an injured child. The paper echoing comments from King Charles and also former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown, urging both sides to spare the lives of Israeli and Palestinian children in this war. The French paper Libération, meanwhile, is using its words more than its pictures. In this article here, it talks about the horrific ordeal of one Palestinian man, Ayman Abu Shamala, a man who lost his wife and two children in a strike on Gaza on October the 21st. That day also happened to be the birthday that both his children shared. They were born on the same day, but 6 years apart. They passed away together alongside his wife, his heavily pregnant wife, who fell from the third floor when she was killed. And somehow they managed to deliver her child after her death. The baby's now being looked after by doctors, but Libération recounts that there are some concerns about the baby's health because the baby was deprived of oxygen after the mother's death. So some really horrific ordeals suffered by people in Gaza. Meanwhile, Hamas leaders arrived in Moscow on Thursday for a meeting with senior Russian officials, something that a lot of the papers are also talking about. It's actually on the front page of the Daily Telegraph here. Putin welcomes Hamas to Moscow, and the paper in its coverage also refers to that as an axis of terror. Senior Hamas leaders arrived for the summit between Musa Abu Mazouk, the Hamas representative, and Mikhail Bogdanov, the Russian deputy foreign minister, as well as Ali Bagheri Khani, Iran's deputy foreign minister. The two sides, the New York Times says, discussed many things, including the release of foreign hostages in Gaza. For the New York Times, Russia has really kept a conspicuous distance since the outbreak of this conflict, but is nonetheless adjusting to sort of show the West that its sanctions and that its attempts to isolate Russia from the rest of the world are not working, which is at least according to the Times, one of the reasons for this summit. In any case, it has certainly made it very tense, the relationship between Israel and Russia. Israel calling the invitation of Hamas leaders an obscene step that supports terrorism.
Moving away from the war then, Deepti, and towards some much lighter stories, and to a suburb in Australia. People there are on the lookout for two pet snakes that were set loose in a lover's tiff. What's that all about?
Well, Sharon, this is from The Guardian, and as we talk about this story, as of this moment, the snakes still haven't been captured. The Guardian reports that a reward has been offered to anyone who finds these two pet snakes, rather endearingly called Bagel and Mango, two 2.5-meter snakes who were tossed into the streets of Sydney suburb Coogee recently in a fit of anger by an ex-boyfriend. Angered by about the fact that he was dumped. The owner of the snakes posted on Facebook that her pets pose no danger to the public, only animals sort of around the size of rats. The reptiles have been hand-reared, she explained, and so they're unable to fend for themselves in the wild, which is why it's so important to bring them back as soon as possible. Hopefully, the good people of Coogee can find these snakes and get them back to their owners as quickly as possible.
Well, another invading species, perhaps, Deepti. Finally, you're telling us about an Italian mother. She has successfully won a court case to evict her adult sons.
Well, you can read about this on the website Pedestrian today. They report on this woman described as an Italian boss of a mother. She was fed up with her 40 and 42-year-old sons still living at home with her near Milan, not contributing to expenses despite working and earning a living. She tried on several occasions to gently coax them, to gently encourage them to move out and live independent lives, but happy to have their mom cook and clean for them on a daily basis, they refused. So she eventually took them to court where a judge agreed to legally evict her sons because the judge said they are over 40 and therefore the mom's duty of care has reasonably passed. They have until mid-December now to move out, Sharon. And turns out that these men are by no means a minority. In this article, they explain that a study last year showed that 70% of Italians between 18 and 34 still live at home. And surprise, surprise, a large majority of them are men.
Brings a new meaning to the phrase traditional mama's boy, I think, Deepti. Thank you so much for that. That's Deepti Laurent joining us there with our press review.